In 2015, we got the Sony Animation Pictures hit, The Angry Birds movie. A movie that I remember watching with my family, but I forget everything that happened in this movie. I don't know if it's because I wasn't paying attention or this movie was just that bad. This was during the time where Angry Birds was getting really big, and something that I've always admired about Angry Birds is how quickly the creators jumped on the bandwagon for everything. As soon as this game got popular, we got crossover games, we got plushies, we got a Netflix show. But nothing would top their big break, and that was with the Angry Birds movie, and then a couple years later, a second Angry Birds movie. Because every child and teenager was eager to see some piggies and some birdies. I need it! So today I thought I'd sit down and decide, do the Angry Birds movies suck, or are they actually pretty good for what they are? Okay, like, subscribe, let's get into it. I actually really like the look of this movie, and even the second. It's definitely super colorful in terms of visuals and animation style. I mean, say what you want about Sony animation movies, but they rarely miss the mark when it comes to making a colorful movie. Everything is just so appealing, the colors of each character's feathers, the grass, the pigs. I'd almost say having good animation or visuals is definitely a saving aspect for me when it comes to animated movies. In my opinion, a movie doesn't have to have a life-changing story to be good. Like, you can have a very simple plotline as long as the animation is unique. The first movie starts off with one of the best title drops I've ever seen. It's so smooth.
Since you asked, rather than being on me, as you suggested, this cake is on you!
Dude, and the intro music is so freaking good. It's so angelic. It brings back so many memories. The main first half of this movie does a pretty good job of setting up this character and the angry side of him. You know, he's like an angry bird, you know. We get this really funny therapy group segment, which I really enjoyed. It was a really creative way to introduce each character. But then they kind of ruin it by literally doing the exact same segment 10 minutes later. I was like, shoot, that was a good segment. I wonder what the next fun bit will be. Oh wait, it's literally just the exact same bit. But at least we got a lot more Terrence. I'm obsessed with Terrence. Terrence is the best Angry Birds character. I absolutely adore this guy.
And this is Terrence.
Whew, more like terrifying.
No, it says here in your little filey.
You need to leave!
The main problem slash story isn't really all that interesting. It's kind of confusing. For most of this movie, I assumed these pigs were repopulating to a bigger island and that's why they were here. And I thought that was a pretty funny storyline. Could bad pigs and angry birds live in harmony? Let's find out. Maybe we'll get some nice gags with this. But then it feels like the whole storyline changes because then the pigs steal their eggs and dip. And it just completely ruins the movie from there. It's boring. They took such an easy route to start like a quick problem that the characters have to face. And how come the pig stayed so long on this island if it was just a lousy egg that convinced them to leave? What? This is a stupid movie. This is a stupid... Also, I didn't realize until after this movie that Leonard is voiced by Bill Hader. This is Bill Hader? His voice is unrecognizable in this movie.
The world of the pigs.
I feel the first half of this movie, the plot is really predictable. Either I'm just a sidekick or they really just took an easy route with every plotline. Oh, the Redbird's gonna uncover the pig's mystery. But when he tells everybody about this, they won't be on his side because he's Redbird. Twist? What? The Redbird's house is gonna get crushed. How did I guess that? I'm actually usually really bad when it comes to predicting what's gonna happen in movies. It's so funny watching movies with my grandma because she like literally predicts everything. She's like, this is gonna happen, and then this is gonna happen. And then I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen. And then it happens and I'm like, Grandma, who are you? So the fact that I was able to predict almost everything that happened in this movie is probably not a good sign. I was really surprised with how weird of a balance the comedy was in this movie. Sometimes they hit you with like the really like childish, goofy humor, but then we get the most random out-of-pocket joke ever.
They stole our kids. I mean, who does that? Have you ever stolen anyone's children? Huh? Have you? I mean, you look like you would.
What? This movie also has so much filler where it doesn't even seem like a movie. Not all the filler is that bad though. I actually really like the filler scenes with Chuck. It's either because the voice actor is Josh Gad, also known as Olaf, or just because he's such a fun character. Every line that comes out of this guy's mouth is just incredible.
But wait, too late! Now I see your fate. Some very troubled somebody destroyed you out of hate.
But then I feel this movie gets a little too into the filler silliness, because then we get like 3 minutes of this guy peeing, and all the other birds are just staring at this guy's gigantic cock. Like I stated before, I didn't hate some of the filler stuff, but some of it felt unnecessary. Filler jokes work best in movies when they're in shorter spurts that feel like a transition back or into the story. This movie has those quick, funny moments that fit, but it also has a ton of moments that feel stretched for runtime purposes. I know nitpicking the Angry Birds movie out of all movies feels super silly, but this movie could have been something special. It could have been like another Lego Batman or Penguins movie. All it needed was just more story and less unnecessary stuff. Also, apparently from my research, this movie is very political, which I didn't really pick up on, but I'm also not really that into politics. What's so political about some birds? Okay. Whoa. I didn't really care for the last 30 minutes of this movie. It kind of felt a little too rushed for me. They just throw all these ideas together without really much thought, and a lot of the lines during the end feel very unnatural for some reason. It's like the voice actors just stopped acting.
How are we gonna get over those walls?
But I did like how they incorporated the slingshot towards the end of this movie. Definitely felt a lot like the games. So as for this first movie, I don't know how I feel about it. It has some amazing animation in my opinion. I love the colors, I love the characters, but it's also a little annoying and the plot isn't really that good, so 3 out of 5, needs more Terrence. Now it's time for the second movie. So I checked the reviews for the second movie, and apparently this movie got more praise than the first movie. I thought everybody hated this movie and liked the first movie, so I'm confused. There's literally a dab 5 seconds in. You can tell where this movie is going.
You're not sure about the dabbing, though.
We start off almost a repeat of the first movie. Red is still going strong against the pigs. They're having full-out food fights. Red has kind of become his island's hero. They're all stands of him, which is something he always wanted. You know, that's not selfish at all. Not at all.
My hero.
Don't stop. I said don't stop.
I think my only big issue with the second movie is that this time around they definitely took a more marketable approach, which makes it feel just a tiny bit cheap. The second movie is also a lot more aimed towards children, which I don't blame them for doing, because a lot of the complaints for the first movie is how inappropriate the jokes were.
Ladies, get busy!
So I think this was really smart. We get romance, Nicki Minaj has the most random cameo, Terrence has children now? Oh my gosh, what can't this guy do? He is so cool. But then this big ol' ice ball falls from the sky and the pigs think, shoot, we need a truce with the birds because this might be an actual threat. I actually do think this movie holds up a lot more than the first movie. For starters, we get a much more laid out plot that I actually understood and got invested in. And there were some really creative scenes that weren't as predictable as some of the scenes in the first movie. The flashback scene was actually really cute. What a sick cut! I enjoyed the fake bird mission thing that went on. That got me a quick knee slap. We also get this. Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy. They also introduce romantic tension between Chuck's sister and Red, which I didn't care for. It felt like every 5 seconds they were trying to push this love idea, and I didn't care for it at all. It made me feel very gross.
Variables changed. So
Variables. What are we doing here?
Stop! Also, Red comes off very annoying in this movie. Like the first movie, you know, he was kind of arrogant and like annoying. That was his character. But in this movie, he's just selfish annoying. This guy is constantly trying to give himself a sad upbringing. This is him for half of this movie. He constantly leaves everybody out, but as soon as they do one thing without him, he gets all sad. What a hypocrite! What a hypocrite! I actually really enjoyed the last half of this movie a lot more than the first last half. A lot of stuff happened, so much so to the point that I forgot what the mission even was, but it's still a lot more entertaining than the end of the first movie. One thing I actually really like about this movie is that it's more focused on just being fun and less edgy, even though there's a whole dance battle and like Baby Shark. But it actually wraps up really nicely where every character feels like they get a redemption arc. Eagle finally makes up for leaving his ex. Red realizes that he doesn't have to be the center of attention for people to still love him, which was a lot more than I expected for an Angry Bird movie. Lastly, what is with this movie and pee? Why is there so much pee? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I actually don't hate these movies. I feel like these movies do more good than harm. Them existing doesn't hurt me too bad because I had a few fun laughs with them. I don't need to watch an impactful movie every week. I'm okay with just a silly mess. I wish they tried a little harder to push story and meaning instead of, like, you know, dance battles, but it still could have been a lot worse.